if my sons were on television talking about me, or one of my sons was on television talking about my lack of parenting skills, I would be pretty upset.
You know, obviously the royals are no stranger to scandals and things like that. And there's been obviously some headlines over the past few weeks with Prince Charles's charity facing legal action, and then everything going on with Prince Andrew's civil case. How do you think the royals are handling both of those situations?
I think they're obviously two very different situations.
Very different, yes.
Prince Andrew is caught at the middle of this storm. You know, the Epstein shadow looms sort of long and large, and I think that's very difficult. And my own view on that one is that they need to instruct lawyers, and you know, if it's not true, deal with it immediately. And I think what is surprising people, certainly here in the UK, is how long this has rumbled on for, and why isn't it just being dealt with immediately? And the Newsnight interview clearly was a PR disaster. So that one, I think, is just the ball needs to be large pretty quickly. With the Dumfries House Royal Foundation piece, I know a lot more about that one because I've made a number of documentaries with the Prince of Wales at Dumfries House, even when it was a sort of derelict building pretty well. And I've, again, on True Royalty, you can watch these films. There's sort of 3 or 4 films with the Prince of Wales about Dumfries House. I think the way the Prince of Wales is dealing with it is probably exactly the right way, which is Michael Fawcett, the chief executive, has stepped down temporarily. There's a full investigation going on. The Prince of Wales is very clear that his foundation, is incredibly important to him, and he won't have it tainted. So I think, if you like, there's a sort of story of two very different princes. The Prince of Wales is dealing with this scandal swiftly and directly, and wants it wrapped up pretty well immediately. And I think he and his team are cooperating fully to make sure it's all dealt with. Whereas the Prince Andrew piece just feels a little bit more murky and feels that no one is really handling it. And I know people involved in the Prince of Wales's team who are dealing with this scandal right now. And watch this space; it will be dealt with swiftly and effectively.
Yeah, I'm sure. Going back to the Prince of Wales again, do you know if he and Harry are in communication at all? Because he said that Harry said that he didn't really have that much communication with his father during the interview. But do you know that within the last few months, if they have been talking, FaceTiming, things like that?
The honest answer is no, and I haven't spoken to the Prince of Wales' team about that over the last couple of months. I do know that the Prince of Wales made it very clear that some of the things that Harry might have said weren't exactly correct. For example, when Harry said the money had been cut off, it simply wasn't true. When the Prince of Wales published his accounts, and it was clear that he had continued to pay him. So all I'm told is that the family are keen to repair this, and that it's not good for the royal family to have this sort of this war being played out in the media. So I think everybody again wants to put a lid on that. And all I can do, I'm a father, I've got 2 sons. If my sons were on television talking about me, or one of my sons was on television talking about my lack of parenting skills, I would be pretty upset. So I'm by no means the best father in the world, and even I would be pretty upset. I think it just must be so hard for the Prince of Wales, so hard. I'm sure he wants to repair things with Harry, I really do.
Yeah. Can the royal family trust Harry and Meghan? Or if they do try to repair it, will they just run back and talk to the media, or Harry write it in his books and things like that? It's probably got to be pretty difficult to figure out what to say and what not to say.
I think that's an incredibly interesting question. History has proven so far that private conversations have been leaked, and information that should have stayed within a family has somehow found its way into the media. And I think the thing that must be concerning not just the royal family, but all of those working in the royal household, is what is going to be in this latest book. You know, if it's true that Harry has been paid $20 million for the book, then the publishers are going to want some pretty good stuff. You need to sell a lot of books to recover $20 million. I mean, we do a bi-weekly chat show or fortnightly chat show on True Royalty called The Royal Beat, and we've had one of Britain's leading literary agents on the show recently, a guy called Andrew Loney, who talked about the fact that, you know, a 20 million advance is unprecedented, much bigger than, you know, any other royals ever had for a book before. So this will have to deliver, and the family, I'm sure, are concerned. I mean, I think what again they're worried about is what we talked about at the beginning of the meeting, at the beginning of our conversation, is that next year is the Queen's year. And if this book comes out in the Queen's year, that would be wrong, hurtful, unfair, I mean, you know, whatever words you want to put against this. So in many ways, I'm sure the family are thinking, okay, Harry, if you're writing the book, let's get it out for Christmas. Let's get it out this year. Let's get it done. Let's get it over. And then let's leave 2022 to the Queen. Because, yeah, bet your bottom $20 million, there's going to have to be some good stuff in this book.
We're going to have to wait and see.